My name is Maryia Virshych, and today is April 14th, 2024. My background is in architecture and product and collectible design. From architecture, I inherited a strong interest in looking at things in perspective from a great distance. So much so that my first real big series of work is inspired by aerial photography. And from working in design, I believe I brought resourcefulness to my artistic practice. My main medium is ceramics, but since I have experience in working with many different materials, I'm not scared to try unusual techniques. And I think I feel more freedom to experiment and break the rules than proper ceramicists, as I haven't learned the rules to begin with. I'm quite certain that my upbringing and my past echo in my work, although it's hard to see all the influences in real time. Sometimes you need the benefit of hindsight to clearly understand where your ideas come from. For example, right now I'm working on a project about the feelings of home and belonging, and I know that it is largely brought about by my own experiences as an immigrant, by my attempts to find home, and how this seemingly very simple concept can be anything but simple for many of us. I think that the concepts I explore can be universal, but I do build on a deeply personal experience. My influences vary a lot. I'm very influenced by what I'm reading each moment. For example, for a while now, I've been reading a lot about landscapes as a painting genre, as a concept, how different artists and thinkers tackle it. So my influences are John Berger, Georg Simmel, Cézanne, Barbara Bender's and Margot Weiner's collection of essays on landscapes and immigration. And I'm sure there are many more that I can't remember right now, but what I think is that ideas aren't born in a vacuum of my own head, but rather they are absorbed by osmosis and then reinterpreted. Right now, I focus on two large series of work. Both are inspired by very personal feelings and reflections, although you probably wouldn't say so just by looking at them. They are a series of landscapes made entirely in ceramics. And I'm simplifying matters here, but briefly, one is dealing with the notions of rootedness and consequently uprootedness and home. And another one is about my own restlessness and wanderlust. And it's amazing to me how making a particular work can help to settle and calm down all those brooding emotions. As for the challenges, it's, the usual ones, I think. How to create a sustainable practice in the capitalist world, how to carve enough time to make all the work that you feel you need to make, how to understand what matters truly. Honestly, it's the same advice I would give myself now. Get out there, experiment more, do more different things, and don't be afraid of rejection or embarrassment. With the work I make, I believe I always work with quite unconventional mediums and techniques. I make low-relief, wall-hanging landscapes in ceramics. And normally, clay tends to be used for three-dimensional objects. So with these flat pieces, I always try new things and invent ways to make it all work. I focus a lot on the tactility of my work. It is very important to me that people can and are drawn to touch it. I think that our contemporary culture tends to overemphasize vision a lot, and touch can get neglected. But, going back to my process, I spent weeks and sometimes months on a single piece without a clear understanding of what I'm doing or if it's going to work in the end. Because with clay, you always work in the future somehow, imagining the outcome in your mind's eye. And then at the end, you put your precious object in a metal box to burn at 1200 degrees Celsius and you cross your fingers. And to be honest, none of it feels conventional to me, even now. It depends. When I need to think with my head, like when I'm designing a work or mixing the glazes, I do that in complete silence. Any noise or sound would distract me immediately. But when I'm at the stage when I need to think with my hands, so to speak, I like to listen to audiobooks or podcasts. This habit uncovered a very interesting aspect of memory to me that I'd like to explore further in the future. When I touch an old piece of work, I immediately get a glimpse of a character or a setting from the book I was reading or listening to, I should say, while making it. It is completely uncontrollable and it doesn't matter how long ago it was. To me, it's a bit like time traveling, very magical. Often people look at my work out of the context of a ceramic studio and they don't understand what it is exactly or what it's made of. And I like this baffled reaction, a bit of confusion. It means to me that it made someone stop for a second and shake up their thinking. And I think this is what art at its best is very good at, to make us slow down a bit and let go of our assumptions, if only for a brief moment. I know I can't predict anyone's interpretation of my work or any other work. I heard in a podcast lately this idea that all vision is a hallucination and what we see is a creative act. And it resonates with me. We all bring all of our experiences with us every time we engage with art. This is what's beautiful about it. And I have to believe that everything I think about, feel, dream of, and reflect on will somehow infuse my work, whether I intend it or not. My biggest and most optimistic hope is that people looking at or touching my work will pause and take time to create their own interpretation, that my work will spark a feeling, a memory, an association with some personal experience. I'll never be privy to this experience, but this quick encounter creates a connection between us. And this connection is what art I love does to me, so my biggest dream is to do that for others.